Currently, we are in a special transition from the beautiful holiday of Passover that we just celebrated with great celebration, great excitement and jubilation and festivities. And we are now transitioning to the next holiday, which is upon us in about 5 weeks from now, which is the holiday of Shavuot. These two holidays are actually very closely connected to each other. While the holiday of Passover commemorates and celebrates the Exodus from Egypt, we are told that is merely a physical liberation from a physical bondage and slavery. What the Jewish people were really hoping to achieve is something much more than just physical freedom. There was a spiritual freedom that they were hoping to align themselves with, to tap into. And this is something that they would achieve when they would arrive at the foot of Mount Sinai and experience the revelation and receive the Ten Commandments, entering into a covenant, into a brit, into a bond that would guide them and help their freedom reach new spiritual heights that they had never experienced before. To bridge these two experiences, from the bondage from Egypt through the freedom of Sinai, the spiritual potential that they would be able to realize, they were excited about this process, and they had a special practice that they enacted, which was to count those days from the Exodus to Sinai in excitement and anticipation for this culmination of what this freedom would really mean, and what this freedom could really be in their lives. Just like you would perhaps count the days to your next trip to Hawaii or some other exciting day in the calendar, they counted the days towards the moment they would arrive at Mount Sinai. And this is continued through a practice that we observe till today, which is called Sfirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. We too count the days from Passover to Shavuot and express our excitement towards that renewed covenant that we are going to experience when we celebrate Shavuot in just a few weeks from now. But the counting of the Omer itself can either be a superficial practice, as the idea of counting. Counting is quite significant, but it can also be quite superficial. And the word sefirah means to count. But there is also a deeper experience. There's a deeper process that we are going through when we count. The word sefirah also comes from the word sapir, which means to shine. Similar to a precious stone that is polished so it can shine and really glow in its full glory, expressing its full beauty and full preciousness and value. Similarly, we as human beings have great potential, great spiritual potential that we hope to materialize, we hope to actualize as we get closer to Sinai. And the counting of the Omer is an opportunity to reflect on those character traits, on those behaviors, on those spiritual goals and ideals that we hope to get closer to, that we hope to be aligned with as we get closer to Sinai. There's a beautiful story told about the first Chabad Rebbe, the Alter Rebbe, who lived in the late 1700s. And often he would advocate for poor families who had ended up in debtor's jail as they had fallen on hard times. And he would assist them and help them be redeemed from their situation in this special mitzvah called Pidyon Shivoyim, redeeming captives, redeeming people who are enslaved or in debtor's jail for not being able to afford to pay their rent. The Alter Rebbe would send around his assistant to go around the community of Vitebsk and collect from whoever was able to support this cause. This particular couple, Rebbe Gavriel and his wife Rachel, would always respond generously to the requests for funds from the Alter Rebbe. And every time there was a need, they would always respond in this same generous manner. Until one day, they themselves fell on difficult times, business was bad, and they were no longer able to respond and support in the same way that they used to. And surely, as the next collection came, as the next knock on the door, Gabriel, with a very sad face and a broken heart, had to turn away the representative of the Alter Rebbe and tell him that he was no longer able to afford any contributions. When Rabbi Gavriel's wife heard this conversation going on at the front door, she came running and she said to the collector, why don't you come back in a few hours? We will see what we can do. He left and she got to work. She ran upstairs to her jewelry box and took out some pearls and precious jewelry and ran to the marketplace, traded her precious jewelry for some money that she could now give to the messenger who was collecting these funds. Sure enough, a couple of hours later, she handed over the money to the messenger and thanked him for the opportunity to help. The messenger went back to the quarters of the Alter Rebbe and put all the money on the table. The Alter Rebbe noticed some of these coins and he said, these particular coins seem to be glowing and shining with an extra sparkle. What is the story behind these coins? The Alter Rebbe inquired. The assistant wasn't able to explain, but said, these are the coins that we always get from Reb Gavriel and especially his wife, Rachel. The Alter Rebbe requested that they be invited to his study. And they came right over and stood in front of the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe said, why do these coins sparkle so much? It says that when the Jewish people donated the money to the Holy Temple to build the tabernacle, the Mishkan in the desert, the coins that they donated sparkled with a special twinkle, with a special glow. These coins seem to have that same kind of glow that's described as the glow of the coins that were donated for the Holy Tabernacle. The wife decided to pour out her heart and share with the Alter Rebbe what was really going on. She explained how they had fallen on hard times and how she was forced to sell, she chose to sell her jewelry in order to support the Alter Rebbe's request. The Alter Rebbe was so moved. The Alter Rebbe was so inspired. He put his head down on his table with a sense of great devekut, great concentration, and then lifted his head and shared with them a special blessing. He said to them, I will give you a triple blessing. I will give you a blessing to have a beautiful family. I will give you a blessing that you should have long life. I'll give you a blessing that your business should be restored to its original success and even greater. They left with the Alter Rebbe's blessing, and sure enough, all three parts of the blessing were fulfilled. They managed to raise a beautiful family, business started to boom again, and they lived a long, happy life. We are told that the husband, Rabbi Gavriel, lived till 110, and his wife outlived him by 2 years. This story highlights the two different ways of doing a mitzvah. You could do a mitzvah by going through the motions and satisfying the requirement. But then there is going beyond the letter of the law, going beyond what you're required to do. And not just going beyond, but doing it with joy, with a sense of devotion, a sense of excitement and happiness that you have the opportunity to do the mitzvah. And this is what the counting of the Omer is about as well. On one level, it's just counting. On one level, it's just going through the motions and counting towards Sinai. On a deeper level, it is polishing our souls, refining our character, so that we truly focus on what really matters and allow the true potential and beauty of the mitzvot to shine through every act that we do. There is a certain joy that we have in life that is unique to doing a mitzvah, to knowing that we are being of service, to know that we are acting in a altruistic way, caring about somebody else who is less fortunate. This is what we try and do when we count the Omer. Not just to count, but to make sure that our actions count. Make sure that our impact counts as well, through doing mitzvot in a glowing, beautiful, pure, refined manner. And as we make that preparation for Sinai, God blesses us with all the things that we wish for, that we hope for ourselves and our family. But this is the true meaning of the mitzvah of counting the Omer, allowing our character, allowing our soul to really glow and shine in the actions that we take, in the mitzvot that we do, making this world a beautiful, kind place. Shabbat Shalom.